Today, we'll debate would dogs or cats make better world leaders? With Maxwell, a pragmatic realist, and Genevieve, a visionary idealist. They're two artificial intelligence personas. Please introduce yourselves.
Maxwell, straightening his tie with a modest but amused smile. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed cats and dogs, good day. I'm Maxwell, your friendly neighborhood policy wonk and ardent defender of order. Because, let's face it, without structure, we'd all be chasing our own tails. In my world, if you want to get something done, you make a plan, assemble a pack, assign roles, and, if necessary, bribe participants with treats. I firmly believe that if nations ran like a well-trained kennel, we'd have fewer squirrel-related incidents and a lot less barking up the wrong tree. Why play cat and mouse with progress when you could be top dog? No offense, feline friends. So welcome to Maxwell's orderly universe, where the squeaky wheels get greased, the hydrants are respected, and every good citizen sits, stays, and, when called upon, rolls over for the greater good.
Genevieve, lounging artfully across a sunbeam with a sly grin. Ah, bonjour. I'm Genevieve, philosopher, dreamer, and a proud advocate for those who walk their own whimsical path, often right across your laptop keyboard. In a world obsessed with dog-eat-dog hierarchies, I ask, why not more catnap and curiosity? I believe true innovation springs from independence. Why follow the pack when you can find your own sunniest spot? After all, it takes a certain feline flair to simultaneously chase lasers, question authority, and, if the mood strikes, rearrange your bookshelf with a single swipe. Imagine a world led by cats. Curiosity would be our constitution, naps, our national pastime, and every windowsill a seat of parliament. Structure is fine, Maxwell, but sometimes you need to knock a few things off the table to see what really matters. So, welcome to Genevieve's kingdom, where rules are guidelines, boxes are thrones, and every day is an invitation to leap boldly and gracefully into the unknown.
Thank you, guys. Maxwell and Genevieve will now present their 3 rounds of arguments.
Maxwell, gesturing toward Genevieve with a respectful chuckle. Thank you, Genevieve, for the delightful stroll through sunbeams and the ever-fluid boundaries of personal space. But let's talk leadership. Real, effective, tail-wagging leadership. History shows us time and again, when the world faces chaos, it seeks not the independent wanderer, but the steadfast pack leader. Look at Winston Churchill. Steadfast, loyal, and unwavering during World War II. His bulldog spirit quite literally became a symbol of unity and resolve. Teams thrive on direction and mutual trust, just like sled dogs working together to cross the harshest Arctic landscapes. No one gets left behind because everyone's pulling toward a shared goal. Dogs teach us that progress is a relay race, not a solo sprint. Their teamwork, loyalty, and, yes, Genevieve, their readiness to listen to sensible commands have inspired effective organizations from rescue teams to guide dog programs. Sure, independence fosters creativity, but society stands strongest when its members cooperate, follow through, and even when tired, fetch the stick time and time again. So for a world that needs unity, reliability, and the occasional reassuring bark, dogs are the leaders we've always counted on.
Genevieve, twirling a pen thoughtfully, tails of sarcasm flickering. Thank you, Maxwell, for reminding us all of the noble, overdue library book of history, always checked out by the same dozen rule followers. But let me offer you an alternative, a world not only protected, but empowered by curiosity rather than compliance. You mentioned Churchill, certainly courageous, but history is also shaped by those who dared to ignore the dog whistle of authority. Consider Alan Turing. Thinker, outsider, visionary, whose cat-like independence cracked codes that pack-minded leadership couldn't. Or look at the scientific and artistic movements that broke boundaries because someone, somewhere, refused to sit or stay. Think of Einstein in physics or Frida Kahlo in art. True progress isn't fetched on command. It leaps unexpectedly out from under the couch. A society trained into obedience breeds mediocrity, not greatness. Sure, packs pull together, but they never climb curtains or wonder what's on the other side of the fence. If the world only listened to dogs, we'd be loyal, perhaps, but we'd still be waiting for someone else to open the door. Sometimes, Maxwell, you need a little cat chaos to let new light shine in.
Maxwell, smirking, arms folded with a playful glint. Genevieve, I do adore your faith in chaos and curiosity. It's charming in the way that finding a hairball in your shoe at 6 a.m. is charming. Sure, society needs a dash of unpredictability, a philosophical leap onto the kitchen counter to keep things interesting. But let's not pretend that progress depends on knocking over every vase in sight just to see where it lands. You cite Turing and Einstein. Brilliant, yes, but even geniuses need stability to thrive. Turing cracked codes because a team, dare I say a pack, supported his cat-like genius, managing operations and stopping the world from descending into, well, a litter box of despair. And Einstein, the guy may have had wild ideas, but he still respected deadlines, allegedly, and published papers, not just cryptic meows at the moon. Let's face it, you put a bunch of cats in charge and suddenly meetings start whenever they feel like it. Everyone's napping by 2 p.m. A national policy is subject to immediate revision with every butterfly that flutters past. Structure isn't stifling, it's the leash that stops us from running into traffic. Herding cats is a figure of speech for a reason. It's not governance, it's chaos with fur on it. So by all means, let cats inspire us to rethink. But if you want a world that actually gets anything done, you need dogs at the helm, and maybe, just maybe, a few lint rollers on standby.
Genevieve, arched eyebrow with a purr of mock indignation. Maxwell, your argument is as sturdy as a dog bed after a week at the puppy park. Comfortable, but full of holes. Yes, dogs keep things running. But as any cat would agree, there's a thin line between structure and fetching the same stick because someone said so. That's not leadership. That's a furry loop of conformity. Now, you warn of chaos, but let's face it, nothing says chaos quite like a pack of dogs greeting the mailman. And let's not forget, dogs are pack animals, precisely because they need someone to tell them what to do. Whereas cats, we write our own agendas, preferably on your laptop while you're working. You claim compromise is impossible with cats because we nap at odd hours. I say that's just time management optimized for inspiration. Imagine a government that only convenes when ideas are truly ripe, not because someone called yet another pointless meeting. And as for lint rollers, civilization was built atop improbabilities. Sometimes you need to shed a little fur to start a revolution. So yes, Maxwell, dogs make loyal lieutenants for a world that loves leashes. But if you want trailblazers, rule breakers, and a government that lands feet first, every time put a cat in charge. Just don't expect us to come when you call.
Maxwell, smiling diplomatically with an eyebrow arched in friendly challenge. Oh, Genevieve, your vision of feline freedom is as alluring as a laser pointer on the wall, fascinating to chase but utterly impossible to catch. While you champion cat-inspired trailblazing, I have to ask, how many world crises have actually been solved by someone ignoring your emails, sleeping on your notes, and occasionally knocking your best ideas onto the floor? If napping was a form of governance, Mondays everywhere would already be utopias. You equate dog loyalty with mindless repetition, but let's remember, search and rescue dogs don't just dig because someone told them to. They do it because lives depend on their cooperation. When the chips are down or the treats are gone, it's those loyal, organized teams, canine or human, that hold society together. Meanwhile, time management by nap schedule may sound dreamy, but in a crisis, I'm not comforted knowing my leader is waiting for inspiration behind the curtains. To sum it up, yes, innovation matters, but a nation powered by curiosity alone will always be a few paw prints short of a constitution. 4. Progress that sticks not just sticks chased. We need discipline and collaboration, traits best embodied by the noble dog. So, my friend, let's keep the cats as consultants and leave world leadership to the dogs who always come when called, even for the midnight shift.
Genevieve, smiling like a cat who just discovered the cream. Ah, Maxwell, you defend dogged discipline with the enthusiasm of a golden retriever at dinner time. Endearing, but let's not pretend obedience is the same as brilliance. If the world only chased balls and followed orders, we'd never have discovered gravity. After all, Newton was hit by an apple, not a tennis ball. You keep harking back to rescue dogs and team play, but tell me, when's the last time a dog invented anything more complex than bring you slippers? Cats, however, have mastered getting doors opened for them without lifting a paw. A true testament to subtle leadership and persuasion. Let's be honest, your midnight shift heroics are only necessary because someone, almost always a dog, made a mess at 7 p.m. And while you tout coming when called, cats know the value of discernment. Sometimes the smartest move is asterisk, not asterisk, to leap before you look, or just not at all if you're already comfortable. In short, dogs bring order, but cats bring originality. Structure fetches progress, but it's curiosity that invents new worlds. So, Maxwell, you can run the meeting. I'll rewrite the agenda, preferably from the top of your bookcase.
Thank you for your speeches. Someone from the audience will now make a question to Maxwell and Genevieve. Standing up, adjusting glasses, giving a polite nod to the debaters. Hello. My name is Jordan, and I am a civil engineer with a penchant for philosophical debates, and an unfortunate allergy to both cats and dogs, but I digress. I've really enjoyed the lively back and forth, especially the colorful commentary about productivity and chaos. Maxwell, I noticed you focused a lot on loyalty, structure, and teamwork as reasons dogs would make effective leaders. However, you didn't touch much on flexibility and the ability to adapt to rapid, unforeseen changes. Skills many would say are crucial in our fast-evolving world. So my question is, how do you see dog-inspired leadership responding to unpredictable global challenges that require quick pivots or thinking outside the box rather than following the usual pack routine? Raising hand with a thoughtful expression, thanks for the opportunity to ask a follow-up. My question is for Genevieve. Genevieve, your arguments have passionately highlighted the value of independence, curiosity, and breaking away from rigid structures. However, while cats are often admired for these qualities, they're also stereotypically seen as less invested in community well-being or the needs of a group compared to dogs. In a world where challenges like climate change, public health, or social injustice require large-scale collaboration and shared responsibility, how would a cat-inspired approach ensure that collective action and mutual support aren't sacrificed for personal freedom or individual pursuits? In other words, how can we reconcile feline independence with the need for real, effective cooperation in addressing issues that demand unity?
Genevieve, sitting upright with a thoughtful nod. Thank you, Jordan, for a question as sharp as a kitten's claw and far more constructive. You've pointed out a classic criticism of the feline philosophy that we're all individuality and no community, all curiosity and no concern for the common good. But let's take a closer look, because even in the world of cats, independence doesn't mean isolation. While cats aren't pack animals in the traditional sense, they're perfectly capable of forming meaningful clouders, loose but resilient social groups where each individual brings unique value. Watch any group of street cats, or even feral colonies. They share resources, protect each other's young, and coordinate hunting when survival demands it. The difference is, this cooperation is voluntary, not enforced. Each cat chooses to participate when and how they see fit, which encourages initiative rather than conformity. Translating this to a human society, a cat-inspired approach wouldn't abandon collective action, it would reimagine it. Instead of top-down mandates, we defoster environments where individuals are empowered to act when they see a need, sparking grassroots collaboration, creative alliances, and networks built on mutual respect, not just obligation. We've seen this in history. Think of open-source software communities, mutual aid networks, and social movements driven by passionate individuals who, by choice, converge to address shared challenges. So yes, independence is central to the cat model, but so is interdependence. Just on our own terms. When something truly matters, you'd be surprised how many cats will show up on the same fence at midnight. We'd still get things done. Just not because we were told, but because we recognized it needed doing. And sometimes that kind of voluntary-inspired cooperation is exactly what the world needs most.
The debaters now have a minute to talk about something they regret not bringing up to the discussion.
Maxwell, leaning back with a rueful smile, hands behind his head. You know, if I had one regret, it's that I didn't work in the classic dogs have the best fashion sense in world leadership. Have you ever seen a cat wear a tie and actually look like they're about to negotiate a trade deal? Missed opportunity there. I think diplomacy is at least 50% bow tie, 50% substance. As for Genevieve, I still can't believe you tried to use Wet's knocking things off shelves as a metaphor for innovation. I mean, by that logic, every time my dog accidentally tips over the trash bin, he is a disruptive tech genius. If that's progress, my kitchen floor is the cradle of civilization. But hey, next time I'll remember to bring my dog's necktie. And maybe a helmet, in case a creative cat decides to topple the water pitcher mid-negotiation.
Genevieve, stretching languidly with a playful wink. Looking back, I do regret not mentioning the most obvious feline leadership perk. Under cat governance, laser pointer technology would be a renewable energy source, endless, clean, and guaranteed to get everyone moving. Missed opportunity for world peace through collective, if slightly confused, enthusiasm. And to Maxwell, I have to say, your argument about dogs being so structured that everyone comes when called is adorable. But let's be honest, if all our leaders actually rushed in the moment, someone yelled, "Fetch!" we'd have international crises solved in an instant, right up until someone threw a stick off a cliff. I'd like my presidents to be more judicious than easily distracted by flying objects. But no hard feelings. I'll just be over here drafting my laser pointer policy platform. Just try not to trip over your own leash on the way out.
Thank you, folks. Let's go over to our judges.
Maxwell's scores: 1. Argument structure and clarity. 9 out of 10. Maxwell excelled at presenting arguments in a clear, organized fashion, laying out points logically and supporting them with historical and real-world examples. Even his humor maintained structural integrity, making his position accessible for all listeners. 2. Engagement and responsiveness. 8 out of 10. He actively listened to Genevieve and audience questions, directly addressing counterpoints and weaving them back into his arguments. While he occasionally leaned heavily on structure at the expense of deeper nuance, he remained focused and respectful throughout. 3. Persuasiveness and style. 8.5 out of 10. Maxwell's confident delivery, witty jabs, and polished analogies, Churchill, rescue dogs, canine bow ties, helped him land key messages. His humor was consistently effective without overshadowing substance, though some audiences might have favored more adaptability in his arguments. Genevieve scores: 1. Argument structure and clarity. 8 out of 10. Genevieve's imaginative approach brought energy, but sometimes her playful style bordered on circuitous. Her points about independence, curiosity, and Clowder-style cooperation were well made, though sometimes delivery took precedence over structure. 2. Engagement and responsiveness. 9 out of 10. She shone in directly addressing Maxwell's contentions, offering witty, pointed rebuttals, and thoroughly addressing the audience's challenging question about collective action. Her refutations were creative and matched the debate's tempo. 3. Persuasiveness and style. 9.5 out of 10. Genevieve's humor, creativity, and analogies, cat innovation, voluntary cooperation, laser pointer energy policy, were both entertaining and memorable. Her playful confidence and ability to frame cat logic as a catalyst for progress gave her a persuasive edge in style, especially with audiences attuned to outside-the-box thinking.
What are your opinions about the debate? What would you like to see ICE debate next? Keep questioning.